Jakub Sobik joins me live from London. He's with Anti-Slavery International. Jakub, thank you very much for joining us. Now, slavery is still happening in other parts of the world. What can be done to fight slavery and using to raise the awareness on the subject?
Hi, I think there are two misconceptions about modern slavery today. One is that people think that it no longer exists. Well, it's very much with us. As you mentioned, some estimate to be as many as 35 million people in slavery. The other one is that we think that slavery happens in other parts of the world. Actually, no country in the world is free from slavery. It happens in every single country in the world, including Europe and including Turkey. And much more needs to be done to tackle that problem. First of all, we need to focus on protecting the rights of the victims and to protect people who are vulnerable to slavery. Very often is because of the poverty, because of the lack of education. It might be because people are discriminated against. So, for example, as you mentioned, there are 14 million people in slavery in India. Most of them come from the lowest caste, from the Dalit caste, who enjoy the least rights. They are the poorest caste as well. And they mostly end up in slavery. So we have to focus on tackling that issue by trying to minimize those vulnerabilities of people.
Talking about focus, I'm interested to get your opinion. So when you look at the modern forms, forced labor, forced marriages, people trafficking, sexual exploitation, which one of these can be the most easily eradicated?
It's very hard to say. Each of them are very different, and the forms of slavery are very different in different countries. And there will be a different circumstances in India where the discrimination is very rife and rule of law doesn't really work. It's very hard to get your case heard in a court, for example, because of the delays. And it's going to be different in Europe, where the criminal justice systems work much better. It's much easier to prosecute the traffickers. It's just a matter of realizing where these victims are and protecting these victims and making sure their voices are heard, because the problem is that not many people realize it's an issue. And even when they come forward to the police sometimes turn them away, saying, "Whoa, we don't know what you're talking about."
Okay. Jakub Sobik from Anti-Slavery International, we thank you for that analysis.